Welcome back to the Professional Lovers. I am Al.
And I'm Patty, and we are
the Professional Lovers,
coming to you on this final week before Decision Day of the Married at First Sight couples. We like talking about relationship issues as seen through the Married at First Sight franchise, and for all of our MAFS fans, that's what we do. But we like to talk about the issues rather than the people, because we want to share our 28-year experience as well as, just other personal opinions that we have about the issues that these couples face, in hopes that those of you who listen to us can get something out of it. And we enjoy the sharing and your comments and feedback and engaging with us, especially because we're talking about issues that face every couple. Reality. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
Brett and Ryan. So after Brett got caught last week, turns out he moved out of the house. She comes back and finds all his stuff gone, pretty gone. They hadn't talked until the couples all got together toward the end of tonight's episode. Talking to a friend, said that she feels very disappointed in how he's handled everything.
Justifiably so.
And he told his friend that he's the one that messed up.
Yeah.
Basically.
Because he did. But one thing that he did not do, he may have talked about what he did and he feels bad for the outcome of it, but he never said, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, when he went to apologize, saying that he was going to apologize and he needed to apologize, he didn't apologize. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, we know this.
And it was never my intention to make you feel bad.
We didn't think it
or to disrespect you, but you did.
Yeah.
And you still didn't say, "I'm sorry."
That's it.
That's it. And you asked, why is it so hard for people to say, "I'm sorry"?
Yeah, I just don't understand it. I mean, when you have a resolve and you talk about vulnerability, I don't think there's two words other than that shows your vulnerability. And I mean, the words can be said, but I think those two words, if genuine, express more succinctly than anything you can possibly say about how you feel putting a person through something, that, is negative. I'm sorry. Simply, I'm sorry.
So, and that's still, I think, what she wanted to hear. So after he said what he said, and "I'm glad you don't hate me," it's kind of like, whatever. She went in her room like, whatever.
Really?
I'm not going to stay in front of the camera because right now I'm a little pissed.
Yeah.
And I would have been, because a simple "I'm sorry"
would have diffused it.
Exactly.
Not to say that it would change everything around, but it would at least allow her to be, I don't know, vindicated, because she knows that in her mind, she's put in the effort.
Yeah.
She tried to be objective and open, and she wasn't met. Her effort was not met. So.
Yeah. So when the couples were all together, and Gil asked the question, was there anything that you discovered about yourself during this process that you didn't know about yourself? Brett said that she was hoping to keep an open mind and discovered that she could keep an open mind. Because even though they didn't match from how they grew up, and, she's a city girl, he's a country guy, he likes country stuff, she doesn't like country stuff, but she was still willing to get involved where she could, still willing to explore right, the relationship. And so she learned that about herself, that she could keep an open mind. He said I don't know. I don't remember what he said. But I know he told his friend that his dilemma is he knows that he's messed up several times.
Mm-hmm.
The friend called him out for not being a communicator.
Yeah. And he knows him.
Right. And Ryan said, so I don't know if I should kind of fight through this or should I just start over? What? And be more of a communicator with the next person? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to them next week. What's your prediction?
No prediction. It's a done deal.
Is that no on both ends?
It's an undone deal.
Yeah. Pretty much think there's no on both ends for that one. Michaela and Zach, wishy-washy as usual.
Yeah.
Michaela met with her sister, talked about their little spat. Sister said, I don't think Zach knows what he wants, which is why it's, one day he's not speaking, the next day he is. One day he's not speaking, the next day he is. And that's, we're tired of the back and forth.
Yeah.
With Dr. Pepper, he walks out, and when he's ready to talk, she's not ready to talk. And then Dr. Pepper, asks him to consider talking. They talk it out, but then he wants a booty call, and she stays over that night. And so everything seems to be built around the sexual need or desire. But neither of them, again, are sure of what they want to say. I
wonder if there's a totally different relationship off camera.
And yeah.
I wonder, not to say that it's a marriage, because I don't see it being a marriage.
No.
But I think that there's different dynamics off camera than there are.
Because when they were all together, and again, to Gil's question, he says, I always consider myself a great critical thinker, but Michaela has caused me to think about things differently.
And he constantly gives her
kudos
and
the most incredible woman next to my mom, the most incredible woman. And so it's like, I don't know which side of the mouth to believe.
Yeah, well, we see what we see, and we make a determination to the 1,000 Michaela, and we can make a determination that that's not part of a personality or a characteristic that anybody would really want to deal with. But he lords her on numerous occasions that she's a dynamic individual, she's a great person, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, we don't see all of that greatness, and it causes us to kind of lean toward, we can see this not happening because she seems to be a volatile type personality. So, I don't know, but...
So, prediction?
No.
As in, they'll both say no? Or?
I don't know exactly how that's going to go, but it's going to be no.
Okay. Right, and I'll come back to Gil's other question about the discussion about what does no mean? What does yes or no mean on decision day? That was a pretty interesting discussion, but let's get through all the couples first, and then we can talk about that. So Bao and Johnny, he's also wishy-washy. Last week he talked to Sarah. She confirmed everything that he felt. Then he talks to his groomsmen who say, dude, you've got this certain vision in your head that is never going to have all of the boxes checked off, which we have said over and over and over. And the person that you have been, where you're just dating all the time and you're this age and you're still single, versus the person that you've become with Bao, who's kind of forcing you to look at things.
Maybe it's time for you to make some adjustments.
Exactly. Don't rush into giving it up. You need to just...
Well, he's searched for excuses. He has searched for excuses. And
all the time.
And anything that gives him any inkling of doubt, he clings to it.
Yes.
Now why wouldn't you talk to your men before you talk to her friend? Just as a sequence of things, and I don't know about production and all of that. Maybe that's how they set it up. But would you, and I feel that he's taken more substance out of what his groomsmen are saying, even though he constantly says that,
what the
Sarah's
best friend
conversation
said,
is
yes,
still in the back of his mind. Well, I mean, she don't know you. And all she can go on is little things that did not work out with whoever Bao was dating at the time. This is a different situation. And how you constantly put this in the same category, I don't understand. And that's the thing about it. I think Johnny is only familiar with one type of relationship category, and that's all he knows. And when things don't go right, he's no longer in that relationship.
Well, considering his answer to Gil's question, what have you learned about yourself? And he said, I've always seen myself as cool, calm, and collected, and now I'm an emotional wreck.
Truly.
And why is that, Johnny?
Because you're being forced to look at yourself.
Exactly.
With someone else in the relationship.
Who's not just giving you the outs.
Exactly.
And he said himself, being married and not being able to just pick up and walk away, which is what he's done in every single other relationship, and being a serial dater, he's been forced to look at himself in a marriage situation, in a marriage relationship, and does not like what he sees.
Okay, well, I don't think many people like what they see from him.
No. And Bao, on the other hand, she is willing to stick with the positives because her parents went through so much. And that's a fundamental difference. His parents went through a lot and they divorced. Her parents went through a lot and stuck it out and stayed married.
Yeah. So, disagreements and whatnot, Bao can understand that happens. We can deal with it. We can move on past it. Johnny, again, doesn't have the example of what
sticking it out means.
From a husband's point of view.
Right.
A man's point of view. I mean, yeah, his father did ask, but he was uprooting the whole family to go do what he wanted to do, as opposed to sticking it out, and seeing what we can do here. And if in time we want to transition, okay. But this is where our situation is. And just by moving zip codes don't necessarily fix the problem. So.
Yeah, so she's, she told her friend, I would be willing to forgive him if he showed me that he's committed to this and he acts like it. And she has acknowledged that in past relationships, such as Sarah talked about, that she has tried to be different in this relationship than more kind and more patient.
True.
And
this is a different. She understands the dynamics of what this is. This is a marriage. This is more than a relationship.
Just a dating relationship. Yeah. So, she's still willing to. Yeah. To
at least today
give it a go. And again, I would say no. Johnny's too waffly and wishy-washy for me.
He would have to say something first, but I don't think even if he did say it, we'd have to have an off-camera discussion. Why are you saying yes?
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Yeah. All right, Rachel and Jose. Rose to you. So, again, she met with a friend, sees a lot of pros. The biggest con is his not listening and his reaction after, first locking her out, and then the reaction in talking about it. Now, one thing she keeps harping on his not listening, and he admits that. But in their last discussion in tonight's episode about the traveling, and her saying that, I want to see us do a big trip every other year, Thailand or Switzerland and he's like, in my family, we grew up, we didn't have anything. So, trips for us was going to a neighboring city, or, if we did Las Vegas together. And she's like, no, I don't see those as trips. And then she accuses him of not listening once again. Now, the question for me in that instance is
Is
not
she
agreeing with you not listening?
Mm-hmm. Or is she listening?
Right.
Yeah.
But in her mind, it seemed to be that because you don't agree with me, you're not listening to me. And that's a little problem. Because
if that's what it is.
Yeah, if that's what it is. And so, that brings me, we always got to try to put the book in here somewhere. And that brings me to this idea that being in harmony, oneness in harmony, is not sameness.
True.
Right? True. It's having the same or similar values, but not necessarily the same style.
It's being adaptable.
But it's a little bit more. It's being adaptable to each other's style, exactly, as long as the value is the same.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
You don't diminish the value.
So if the value is, having fun together and spending, quality time together,
being something unique.
My style is going on a big trip to have fun together. Your style is going on little trips to have fun together. Where do we compromise? Do we throw a potentially good relationship away because of difference in styles? You should never be expecting that someone's style is going to be the same as yours.
True.
And that's where a lot of these issues between these couples stem from is thinking that we have to do things the same way.
And that's not the case.
And that brings us back to this, that old cliche thing of the toothpaste, right?
Squeeze from the top.
Who squeezes from? It makes sense to squeeze from the bottom because you're advancing the toothpaste toward the top in a very controlled way.
Sounds like an engineer.
Right? Why would you squeeze the toothpaste from the middle?
Because he gets it up the top.
Now,
wherever the toothpaste is.
What's the value?
Getting the toothpaste.
Right. If our value is we're not going to waste, then either style can get all the toothpaste out eventually.
True.
Okay? So just because someone does squeezes from the middle and the other one squeezes from the bottom, who cares?
Just different techniques.
As long as the value is
the same.
The
objective.
As many values as necessary as possible need to be similar.
True.
The style does not have to be the same.
True.
And so they're getting stuck. And I think that Mirla and Gil are getting stuck in that a little bit as well. So, Jose and Rachel are worried about, she's worried about his listening and he's worried about trust issues. He has trust concerns and their communication issues.
Yeah. Well, they both have brought up things that have created that. So, there's certain justification behind feelings that they both have, but can they get past it? Will they get past it?
Now, one thing that Rachel did say she's learned about herself is that in past relationships, she felt that an argument meant breakup. And she has discovered that that's not what that means.
No. You'll learn.
You can have arguments and disagreements. It doesn't signal breaking up.
True. It's just an opportunity to learn more about your spouse. They feel a certain way. You feel a different way. Okay, why? Do we come to a compromise? Do we even express it toward one another to see who has the best results? If it's a situation that requires a result. Because again, one person depending on what the situation is, there may be a better way to resolve the situation. And one person may have it in their mind to resolve it a certain way, and the other have it in a different way. And you may have to come to a realization that maybe your way is better, or the other person's way is better. That's how I got to Alabama. I didn't have a plan. Patty had a plan. Okay. I didn't have any argument. So let's try your plan.
Is it working?
Today?
All right. It's been working for 20 years.
24.
24 years. That's true. 24 years. The last thing with Jose, they both talked to friends.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the fact that his friend did not call him out on the whole locking her out of the house and all of that. He said, yeah, she went to stay with an ex, and that's really big. Well, yeah, but why?
And my statement was, she reached back in her past because she couldn't reach her future. You locked her out.
Right.
So it was through your actions that caused that situation to happen.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, and that was a big piece to leave out of the discussion.
Yeah.
But, maybe production just didn't want to give that the time.
Maybe.
They could have cut that out. But anyway. All right. So Mirla and Gil had a lot to talk about with those finances. And he has been harping a lot on her making more money than him.
Not making more money, but the way in which she lives. The style.
And part of that is making more money than him, and the expectation that he would have to buy for her the way that she buys for herself. And it started to sound like there was a little ego problem with Gil tonight, talking about the finances.
Hearing that. Now, both of them are of Latin origin.
Right.
Tradition is very typical in the Latin community. And I think this is a situation where, out of all of their communication, which has been great throughout,
which he says it's great,
why is it that they have never really discussed? They've indicated where it's very a sensitive topic, but it doesn't sound like it's a discussion as to how they would rectify their current financial situation. Okay, she might make twice as much as him. In his mind, traditionally, the man pays the bills of the household. He knows that if he paid all the bills, he'd be a broke individual.
Right. And she'd have her twice as much salary being able to do whatever she wants to do.
Exactly. And he'd be a broke individual, can't do nothing. That in his mind. Now, why wouldn't that have been part of a discussion to say, okay, if these are the bills, how are we going to, collectively handle this and, continue to survive and live and thrive and move on. But I don't think that has been done. And that seems kind of awkward to me. And it's true. I think if that is the only way that he is thinking and not discussing it, I think it is ego driven. Because he's feeling that traditional responsibility as the man that he has to, but that's not the case. You got a woman who has been independent, and you have an independent woman, and there's nothing wrong with it. I have an independent woman. We both broke, but that's okay.
But we broke together.
Exactly. And we just find ways to move on and do what it is we choose to do. But I think that just needs to be a discussion as to how they can still live a good life. And one thing that I do wonder is, does Gil have a problem with an improved quality of life? Which is what, he would end up having, because she is not willing to compromise her standard of lifestyle
that she's worked for.
Right. Because it's not like she's striving and, she's out of her league. This is where she chooses to live. Now, and it's not like she, throws it in anybody's faces or whatever. And I know everybody looks at the persona, but She's a genuine individual. She knows who she is and what she's about, where she's come from. And I think that because Gil doesn't see any humility in her, that it's a problem for him. But again, I think it can be resolved if they discuss it.
Okay, you done?
Yeah, go, yeah.
Okay. I've kind of been chomping at the bit.
Go ahead, chomp.
But,
chomp.
Okay, so you're making an assumption that they haven't discussed it. I just said during the episode that we don't know what they discussed. Based on his conversation with his mom, talking about tradition, talking about, the man being the one to pay the bills. Then he made a statement that we've been talking about how to split the bills. But I can't buy her a $300 shirt. I can't buy her $600 pairs of shoes. And, and today is different. In my mind, when we get married, it's our money. Now,
True.
And we've talked about this before, and every couple kind of moves into that at different speeds, or they evolve into a financial philosophy and partnership. When we first got married, you had your bank account, I had my bank account.
Well, they were already established.
Right, they were already established. You worked in D.C., had a D.C. bank. I worked in Baltimore, had a Baltimore bank. We put each other's names on our accounts, but it wasn't for another 2 years, maybe.
I think so.
When we moved to New Jersey, that we ended up having a joint account. We, when we left that area and moved into a different situation, then when we opened the bank account, in both of our names. So we had a joint account, and we've had joint accounts ever since. So, and then when we first got together, we kind of put bills up on the shelf. And, I took this one for this month. You took that one for this. There was no real issue about paying. Who was going to pay what? And so, it's interesting. And this is another idea of this, singleness versus married. Being single and older single in your 30s, and someone like Mirla who has worked up to having a great job, and being able to live a certain way. The extreme is, I ain't gonna change for nobody. That's the extreme. For Gil, for whom, he could live in a box. That's his style, okay? And his, I don't care about money. I'm not driven by money. And, I can live anyway. And I think you need to come to my side and think the way I do. That's extreme. I guess what I'm saying is, the financial thing, if everything else is good, the communication is good. Being with you is great. I can, we laugh a lot. We they have not had any major blowout drama.
No ugly.
Right? Exactly. No ugly. Why can't you see any compromise and negotiation in this issue?
On both sides.
On both sides. As you said, sometimes he acts like he's not worthy to live a better life.
Yeah. And
even if it's not what you go after, would you not enjoy it?
Really? I mean, accept it. Accept it. It's not that you're putting it out in anybody's face. You're not,
it's not something you expect.
Right.
But if it were available, can you enjoy it?
I mean, that's collateral damage. It comes with the package.
Yes. So if they haven't had the discussion, and he's assuming that based on tradition, he would have to pay all the bills, then I can understand why he's scared. Okay? But if that really hasn't been a discussion, and the two of them can figure out together what the financial partnership looks like, I don't think it would really be that big of an issue. The bottom line is, going back to our book, live within your means to avoid financial problems.
And I don't think they would have a problem.
He's been living within his means.
Yeah.
She's been living within her means.
Both doing well.
The value is living within your means.
True.
And how we negotiate our styles to integrate them is really the goal.
Something just ran through my mind.
What's that?
When she asked for a prenup.
Oh. I don't know if she makes twice as much as he does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But hey, I really don't. Actually, in all actuality, because of his level-headedness, his being the type of person that he is, an engager and a thought-provoking individual, she is a leadership coach. She could train him in her profession, and I think the two of them can be an awesome power couple, a true power couple. Just a thought. A thought. That's where I went.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And the one thing she cleared up is that, he keeps saying, I feel like you forget where you came from. She's like, It's because I remember where I came from that I'm motivated to do what I do. Mm-hmm. It motivates me every day.
And in her profession, she basically is motivated from her past to engage other people in doing better for themselves because of how she's done it for herself. I mean, that's what she does.
Exactly. So we didn't give our prediction about Rosé, and I think that they're most likely to say yes. Like, I think that Mirla and Gil can, I feel like these last 2 weeks with Mirla and Gil, they've kind of tried to ratchet up the drama because they've been so drama-free. So now we're giving these questions about, can I deal with her brattiness? Can I deal with the, and that's kind of, I feel like it's really production that's trying to create some drama. I really feel like they would say yes.
I think they should.
I think they should say yes, and I think that Rosé could say yes.
Yeah.
So let's end with this question that was talked about when all the couples were together for their last social gathering. Mm-hmm. And that is, what does yes and no mean on decision day? Zach has said several times that no for him means I was not happy during these 8 weeks. I didn't see it working for me, but we can keep seeing if there's any potential there
and where it can go
after saying no. And Bao was like,
yeah,
because no for me means we're done.
Right. You're already married.
I mean, if you see potential, then why wouldn't you just say yes?
Yes, and work on that potential.
And if down the line the potential does not materialize, then divorce. And Brett was kind of on that same wavelength.
True.
Because it doesn't make sense to say no, but let's keep going at it on the side. That makes it appear as though you're looking at it as a game.
Exactly.
It's for the cameras, like for the show.
The 8 weeks. I know we said we were married, and we were, and it was all of that, and now we're at decision day, and it's like, okay, make a decision. Well, I ain't ready to make a decision, but how about if we just, cut it right here, and then we can, get when together again and see exactly.
And the pressure's off.
That's not how this plays out. And it's not a game. I mean, it's a unique situation. It's abstract, but it's real.
Exactly.
And the past 8 weeks have been real. You've encountered day after day this individual who you are now tied to. And you have put, whatever level of effort you've put into it
Mm-hmm.
to create and establish a relationship, to get to know this individual and allow them to get to know you. And if that's not enough of a gauge to figure out whether or not you want to continue to take the next steps, then you didn't get in it for the right reasons.
And Johnny seemed to be, Bao said that no means that's the end. So it's almost like he's been contemplating, the no, but let's see if we can still work on this after it's all over.
She sounds like she's serious.
And for her, she's like, no, it's like, no, we're done.
You wasn't thinking about this beforehand?
Yeah. So I'm not, I would have to say that if I was in that situation, that if I truly saw potential to continue to grow, for my spouse to grow or show some interest in growing and changing, that it would have to be yes. But if I saw no potential whatsoever, or I did not have enough trust that he truly means what he says, it would have to be no.
Cut bait.
And the no is no. Okay. We're done.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Saying, let's play a different game now. No.
Yeah.
Because it's not a game.
So we'll see what happens next week. I know that there's been a huge theme in the thread over the last couple weeks about the producers seeming to exploit the emotional instability of several individuals in this season, Johnny and Michaela and Zach, and instead of the experts really on camera, at least, appearing to stop couples from emotionally abusing each other, even going back to last season.
Counsel and some...
that they seem to keep pushing them together. And it is kind of becoming a little, and I have to say, it's becoming a little concerning because of the Chris and Paige issue last season, and now the Johnny and Bao issue and the Michaela and Zach issue this season, that, they may need to really look at changing how they do what they do. If lasting marriage is really what their goal is and not the entertainment value. Yes, television is a business. Mm-hmm. Yes, you are doing it to show drama, but is that the end goal?
True.
And if that's the end goal, y'all need to change, because these are people's lives.
True.
That
TV
real
is
lives.
TV is drama,
yeah.
But life is not drama.
I mean, it is, but not for...
No, it has it, but it...
But it is not...
Right.
Not for the end goal of entertaining people.
True.
Yeah. So just wanted to throw that out, because we're just as concerned as some of you about that too. And who knows, maybe if one of the experts happen to see this, then they'll hear what we're all kind of feeling about that. So next week is decision day. So we'll be able to actually see how our predictions play out. Until then, you guys take care, stay safe, and peace.
Enjoy.